Hi and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Rita Borenstein. Is it possible that we as souls live an eternal life and change bodies now and then? What is called to incarnate, to go into the flesh, incarnio, and to experience different angles, different experiences in life after life. When I trained in the Michael Newton Institute to become a life between life hypnotherapist for spiritual regression, past life regression is included in the method. Going to a past life and then to the death moment in a past life was one of the foundings by Michael Newton, that it is possible to remember what it's like to die in a past life. And to die in a past life and to experience it during hypnosis was what Dr. Michael Newton called to enter the spirit world from the front door. Because if we would try to go to the death moment in our present life, it would be impossible because we still do not know how we are going to die. So going to a past life and the death moment in a past life is a key to experience the so-called life between life state, which is the pure soul state. And that is what Dr. Michael Newton found out, that it's possible to access this state. And this is amazing, I believe. So today I'm going to speak about wounds from past life. So based on this phenomena then, that we might live a long life as a soul and incarnate into the flesh, so to speak, from time to time, what is the purpose of it? There are people, of course, who believe that we do not exist before we are born and we do not exist after we die. And I respect, of course, all sorts of views and experiences, and I am not a missionary or try to, make someone believe in anything really. But these sessions that I facilitate as a member of the Dr. Michael Newton Institute is basically to see for oneself, to have a subjective feeling during hypnosis and experience, and a physical experience too, what it's like to experience a past life and then to die in a past life and enter the spirit world from there. So I have recorded many videos, both in Swedish and English, about the life between life experience and many other videos. So today I'm specifically going to speak about wounds from past life. Some people believe that when you enter incarnation, this present incarnation as a baby, that we are totally blank, so to speak, that we have, of course, genetics and maybe the other phenomena, what we call epigenetics. It's special habits and other typical phenomena from the family and the whole experience from where we enter as a child. But does the soul also have a memory from certain past lives, and what do we bring into a new life? So I have my own experience from past life spiritual regressions, and I have facilitated sessions for a lot of people during the last 11 years as a member of the Michael Newton Institute. And also before then, I was hypnotherapist working with past life regressions for a couple of years. So I can only speak from experience and from what I learned through watching people, and to see for myself, and to through the experience of the client, to listen to them and what they are telling me during their hypnotic state. So, do we have wounds from past lives? I think so, because I experienced so many times that people who are doing sessions with me experience certain past lives, and then I have the possibility to ask them firsthand why they remember and tell me about that particular life, because, for example, if we had many, many, many lives, hundreds, thousands of lives maybe, why that particular life? For example, I can talk by example so it makes it clearer maybe. I had many clients over the years, and I'm also one of them who had lives, many lives or one life, we don't know, but usually one kind of life comes to the surface with details. Um, that's about lives where we were silenced. Maybe we were rebels, so to speak, or knew something that was forbidden to talk about. I had, for example, one client who died. Remember a life like that? And her death moment was in a prison camp somewhere in Russia or something like that. It was not super exact specific which place, but something like the Gulag or Siberia or something like that. She told me it was super clear for her, the kind of circumstances where she was. And then I asked her what those experiences then, after she passed in that life, what kind of correlation it is with her present life as a woman. I think she was a man. I don't remember all the details, but I think she died as a young man. Yeah, she did. Now I remember what she told me. She died as a young man in that prison camp in dire circumstances, cold and hungry, starving, and terrible. And she said this life she has been very, very, very introvert, and also chose a profession where she could sit by herself and work with certain things, not needing to cooperate with anybody else, and to this lady lives in a partnership and with a family, but still she has been very reluctant to speak her mind, and to she'd rather be quiet and keep for herself her her opinion and her thoughts. And she came for a session about half a year ago, and well, finally she had some clues about this. So maybe it was not only because dying in this prison camp back in the days, but maybe other things also during her childhood when she was not um, asked about her opinion, and she had to be quiet and really not air her opinion that much. So that was then the what she had in common this time with that past life, and it gave her a few insights that this time she's not threatened to be killed. Here in Sweden, it's you're not killed for your opinions, I believe. Could be, but not as far as I know. Like in other countries where you cannot speak your mind, and we have many countries like that these days. You're simply just silenced and or killed, or in other ways, well, you disappear somehow. So this is a great fear that I met in many clients, men and women, who told me about this as they remember then past lives as some kind of character. It could be very long ago, or it could be in the last century, or the century before. Now I all of a sudden remember one lady who was red-haired in her present life, and she came to me for a session. This was about 10 years ago, I believe. And she entered a past life, she told me, as a suffragette. It's those women, maybe read about the suffragettes. It's the women working for women's rights. And they got quite angry in the end and started to burn things and explode things, and yeah, they run out of patience, actually. So there was a movie a few years ago with Meryl Streep in one of the roles, but it was an amazing movie. And I read a lot about the suffragettes, and this lady was a suffragette, and she was red-haired back then too. I believe this wife, she was working in the radio, or Swedish radio or television. I don't remember anymore which, but she is a communicator in this life, eager to communicate the truth and to speak her mind, and a strong character. And when she came into the past life experience, it was so vivid for her. So she started to scream, "Women must vote! Women must vote!" like that, with a high-pitched voice. And I was almost screaming with her, because I'm, of course, for women's right and right for everybody. And she was so angry and screaming. And then the next moment she told me, "Now I'm being killed." She was taken away while screaming, put in a prison cell, and then they killed her. And that was the end of that life. And that was quite a shock for her, actually, in the hypnotic state too, because it came somehow a bit unexpected, which it is very much in past life experience. It's seldom super scary, but it's still so clear that you will never forget it, really. So this was this lady who we were then talking about her present life, and I don't remember anymore her questions into the session, but I think she wanted to, like many of these people, they want to speak their mind more. Maybe they want to write books, maybe they want to speak more in the radio or in television, and don't hold themselves back anymore, but be brave and know that this is a time and this is a country in Scandinavia here where you can truly have a blast to speak your mind. So the wound from past life can totally affect us and can be healed also during a session like that. So we have certain wounds, and the soul has wounds too, I realized. I mean, we think that the soul is spotless and it's pure light, of course. One can think that it's, I wouldn't know, but it's just from my experience from listening to people that the soul comes back and again to incarnate, to experience healing, to experience things from a new angle. And maybe this life I won't be killed for speaking my mind. Maybe this life I can be a woman and speak my mind. So for me, for me personally, this has been a strong insight that, oh my God, this time I have the possibility to have my YouTube channel. I have the possibility to work as a woman and support myself. There's nobody who have control over me, really. They could try, but I do my own, I follow my own inner wish and compass as much as I can. So it's a great possibility. And this has been my experience from my own past lives. One in the concentration camp in Bergen-Belsen when I died as a child, about 4 years old. I believe I was a girl. And in another life, I was a female doctor in Vienna, and it was quite rare to be a doctor at that time. And I've told the story in my first book, To Soul, Home and Back, which is available in English too. And I told about many of these lives in my other book, My Soul is a Diamond. My third book, which is in Sweden only, it's also past life, but this time as a man and as an archaeologist in Egypt in the last century, when I was digging for in the tombs and finding some things, and I died quite young from getting bitten by a scorpio or some kind of insect. I died at the spot right away. So yes, past life experience can be amazing, and to figure out these wounds that we might still carry in this present life. Another typical wound that people tell me about, and well, I had this kind of thing myself, as always. I recognize myself in all these clients. It's a life or many lives as a nun or as monks, and it's not long ago where you could not actually. What could you do if you felt, if you were hypersensitive or an empath woman, for example? Your choice was to get married and to give birth to many children and stuff, even if you were rich, because then the destiny was the same, that well, you give birth and you get pumped out of you get pumped to be depleted of energy in that way. So you could go um, into a life as a nun then. I don't know how fun that was, but I remembered many lives as a nun, and it wasn't that fun actually. Only I had an experience of the prayers and to be in the garden. I'm very interested in gardening this time too, and I love cheese and wine. So maybe back in the days, that was the only fun we could have, because sex was, of course, not an option. And I had a life also when I got pregnant. I don't know if I was raped or if I did it by choice, or if I came there pregnant. I don't know of all the details, but it was terrible because, of course, I lost a child, and that was horrific experience, everything. And I had another experience as a young nurse here in Sweden when I was working in a hospice, and there was another nurse there who was a Catholic nun, and she was giving me hell. Actually, it was difficult work because it was difficult situation, because I was new at the place and many things to learn as a young nurse, because in hospice we wouldn't send anybody to the hospital, but we took care of everybody so they could die there. So it was quite advanced when it came to the medical parts of the job, and also people were dying every day. So it was quite stressful for me. So this woman then somehow helped me surface a kind of nun life, where I was as a nun, where in many of these monasteries they were taking care of the sick, and also women could come there and give birth, and then they would somehow adopt the child or give the child away or kill the child. I don't know what they did, but it was not that fun, much fun. So all these things came to, for one period of my life, as when I started to work with past life regression, many of these lives came to the surface for me to heal them. I think I still get a little upset when I think about it. So maybe I need to do more. I would like to do more sessions to see if there's anything more to heal in that kind of those kind of circumstances. I had a few clients who were monks too, and I think I vaguely remember I had a past life also as a monk, writing, sitting in a cell and writing these letters in Latin or whatever it was, and doing one day's work, and then it's freezing cold, and you have rheumatism, and then you just die, and it was not that fun either. So of course, life in a monastery can be a bliss, I guess, but for me, it wasn't that blissful. Maybe I just forgot the blissful ones, but I experienced this kind of uh, um, uh, things with clients many times. So some people believe that past life wounds could be about a life as a Napoleon or Jeanne d'Arc or something like that. But if it never happened to me. I think someone told me she was Sylvia Plath, who was quite one could say a tragic figure, totally depressed, and she killed herself by putting her head into not into the oven, but inhaling gas, and then she died. And this client then told me about it, but I asked her many things about it, as I do if someone tell me stories that I want to ask more about. And usually this kind of famous people syndrome is it's like Napoleon is a kind of vibration, or Jeanne d'Arc is a kind of vibration. So many people could experience that they were them for one reason or the other. To me, it's not always authentic, because it could be an inflation of the ego to believe one has been a Roman emperor or a queen or something. But I had a few authentic experiences too with clients believing in something like that. But most people have very individual experiences, and then figure out um, these lives that create these wounds, because one can sometimes, I by intention ask client to tell me about their best life, a life that was fulfilling and loving and wonderful, and they could let their soul sing, and and I was asked this kind of question too in a session. I tell the story in my book, My Soul is a Diamond, when I was Leila, a woman in Sevilla, in the 400 after Christ, and it was an amazing life, and it was so fulfilling, and I was happy, and so everything was wonderful. So these kind of lives are the most healing experience, I believe, and indirectly heal the wounds too, somehow, because it's such an amazing experience to experience, or maybe realize that this present life is the most amazing life. Because if you go into this kind of past life experience with many wounds, it's like having a nightmare in a sense. So when you come back after the session, I have experienced this many times myself. I'm totally happy to be Rita, although I was a bit depressed before. I was thinking, oh my God, I'm a woman this time and I'm free and I live in a house and a big garden and I can do what I want and everything is wonderful. So it's like coming back from a war zone and being safe again. So there's many benefits from past life, going into a past life regression during hypnosis. So I can warmly recommend it if you do it with me, to see me in person, or do it online with me if you live in another country or another part of Sweden or other part of Scandinavia. And there's many talented regressionists out there. So the main thing is, I believe, is that the chemistry is right. So that's why everybody who contact me on email, I ask them to call me. So we chat for 5-10 minutes or so to figure out, for me at least, to figure out the chemistry, so we can easily then work together during a session. This is, I feel instantly if there's a flow, and I think it's the client feels it too, because the people who come see me are highly intuitive, I believe, and they sense already by contacting me, they have probably taken my energy and to check me out, so to speak, and this then makes it a wonderful experience. So before ending this video about past life wounds, I'd like to say something about, I got the question this morning from a client who is actually working with in a bank. What's the success rate in sessions with you? And I think I started to try to answer her around it somehow, because I don't keep statistics. And of course, I have a sense of how it usually works for clients, but I never think of it as a success or an unsuccessful session, because everybody gets something out of it. And some people want to experience past life or life between lives, but they cannot access it for some reason. So they experience something else. They heal something from their childhood. They heal something from the time in the mother's womb. They heal some emotional stagnation, or some kind of, well, many, many things. So there's never a failure as far as I'm concerned. So we always work these 3 hours from the start to the end. And it's always fulfilling. I think I can say this without some kind of hubris, or because I'm so curious about the soul of the client and the personality of the client, and what is the sync between the client and their soul. That's the question. And most of the people want to get in touch with their soul, but there's always contact with the soul. It's just that we've forgotten it. So there's nothing, I mean, new actually. And why do they have to come to me to get in touch with their soul? I don't know. But I think life is in this way for many, many people, that it's stressful, that we are taught to be goal-oriented and to be structural and to be checking out somehow. So then the longing is so strong to get in touch again. So it's like I was lost, but now I want to be found. So when the person longs to get in touch with their soul, the connection is always there, because the soul wants it all the time. So yeah, so for me, it's always a success if you get closer to your own soul. Yeah, so I don't know if I answered the question of the client, but she actually booked a session, so I hope she will come. All right, so thank you for listening. And if you want to subscribe to my channel, that would be nice. Or if you want to write a comment, maybe you had past life experience yourself and want to add something. So that would be nice to get a thread going about this topic. Okay, see you. Bye bye.